Welcome to the Western Youth Soccer referee kickoff meeting. Today is August 2nd. My name is Jeff Daniels, and I am the Director of Referees for West Jordan Youth Soccer. Many of you already know me, and I'm glad that you're returning. Some of you are new and wanted to introduce myself. I've been doing this as a volunteer position on the board for West Jordan Youth Soccer on the recreational side. Sorry, can't get the words out. For about 3 or 4 years. I can't exactly remember. When I inherited the program, we started with 12 referees and a spreadsheet. Now I've had as many as 95 referees, which is great because it means that the program is something people want to participate in and be involved in, and they're gaining benefit and value from it. So I think that that is great to do that. We have many online tools, which we'll talk about a little bit today. This is for scheduling, for online payment, and we will go over all of that. Feel free to ask questions throughout. For the younger kids, try and avoid the what if questions and keep your questions very direct to the topic, and we will go from there. Most of you should have received an email from me. I was out of town last week. I got back home at midnight last night. So if there's a couple emails in the email box that I haven't yet gotten to, I will be doing that once I've finished here this morning. But feel free to send me an email or a text message if you have questions or problems as we lead up to that. So that's kind of the introduction here. And let's go ahead and jump in. So I just wanted to give some season information to start. Our season will run from August, I got that wrong, 23rd. That should be the Saturday, through October the 11th. There will be 1 week where we have midweek games. That's August 26th and 27th. So we'll play and ref on the 23rd, and then the next Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll have games. And then it'll continue the next Saturday. I think we do have a 1 week break in there for Labor Day, but we'll see that on the schedule once it's created and available. I would like to do an in-person referee training. I am still working on that. I was out of town last week. I have to be out of town next week, and our season starts the 23rd. So I'm working on it. Again, there's a volunteer position, and we're doing our best here with resources we have and the time that we have. But I will work on that to provide some in-person training. It may be just before the season starts, so stay tuned and we will get with you on that. For additional training throughout the season, we have referee forum meetings. That's every Thursday night at 8 o'clock on a Zoom meeting. This is voluntary, but it has been very valuable to those who participate. I try not to go beyond 30 minutes. I know it's usually school nights, and we just move through things quickly, provide opportunity for calling out great efforts, calling out opportunities for improvement, and providing an opportunity for questions from things you've seen. What we provide for the league is center referees from U9 up through the high school age groups. The way that we do this is well, let me jump to the next point and then jump back. Assistant referees are provided for U13, U15, and high school. So if there's U9, U10, U11 center referees, I put 2 referees on the field so that it's not just one referee, especially if they're new. We have dual refs, and we'll talk about that a little bit, especially as the season goes on. If there are assistant referees, the people with the flags, then there's only one center referee because obviously they have the help from the side. This is the general season information. Any questions on this at this point? All right, we will keep moving. All right. After the spring season, I did send out a survey for the referees who participated there. We had about 85 referees that were going. I had about 30 responses. And this is I used AI to help me consolidate and summarize everything. So these uh, results here come from that. I wanted it to be impartial and just give me the facts. Um, how effective was the training? Out of a scale of 5 on all of these, 4.4. They feel the training was well structured and clear fundamentals. IREF training, we'll go over this in a second as well. This is um, not a group that is part of West Jordan Youth Soccer, but we work with them to provide training. They do training for all sorts of leagues all around the state. And in fact, they are expanding to go more national. So it's a very good program. And we're glad to be part of their efforts with the training. Referee forum meetings, as I said, 4.5 for those who attended. They felt it was highly valued and encouraged open sharing. I encourage you to attend those. I also have built a informative versus entertaining, but an informative YouTube channel for West Jordan Youth Soccer. Um, what I put on there is the sorry, not the orientation meetings, the referee forum meetings and the orientation meetings for that matter. But I also put on there shorter videos for topics that continually come up as questions or as opportunities from the coach feedback that I receive. So that's a place that you can be looking at even now. I've sent that out in the email links. And if you've just barely joined into the program, I'll be sending some more emails out this afternoon. You'll have that. I encourage you to go out there and just look at some either historical information or some of the shorter videos on what we've looked at and some of our opportunities for improvement in the program. Some of the things that we wanted to improve on is just helping to understand more of the signals, the drop ball rules, foul scenarios, and in-person training. I'll be working on that, as I mentioned, and we will see what we're able to put together for the program. All right, going to the next slide. Stack officials. This is the tool that we use. If you have been with us before, you're already familiar, and for the most part, you're already set up. I believe they are asking you to verify your tax information again, so you'll want to do that sooner than later. I just did mine this morning on my test account so that I make sure the system is working, and it was pretty easy. It's just filling out that slight amount of information. Let me know if you have questions. If you're new, we'll be talking about this a little bit today, but you'll need to set up your profile in Stack Officials. I enter you in once you complete the IREF training. Then you'll have that opportunity to link up in Stack Officials. So the sooner, the better on your training, and that will help to speed up the process here. In there, the payment system, slightly more complicated, but there are instructions, which I've made a short video on that, and then I can send out links on the instructions for that. Game scheduling, this is a pain point. I admit that. We do self-selection, and there's a lot of people that go in all at the same time, and so it kind of bogs down the system. Again, I'm trying to think of ways to do that, yet keep it fair for everybody to select their games. And then the game reports, this obviously, you can see that was an issue. Sometimes the game reports were not appearing, and we'll be touching base with Stack officials by opening a ticket in advance this time, just to make sure that either everything is set up or we can understand better why it wasn't working. All right, for communication support, again, these aren't my words, but it was praise, timely, excellent, responsive, supportive. If I'm ever not these things, let me know, call me out. Again, it's a volunteer position, but I try and do the very best that I can to help this program succeed and to help you succeed. I don't do this for any other reason than that I like to help you develop into more capable, stronger, better people, including your referee skills. Suggestions for a pre-coach or preseason briefing to the coaches. I do that every season. I give them a 10-minute speech. Some of them, I'm sure, are getting tired of it, but I tell them, talk to me. If you have feedback, there's no need to be confronting the referees, provide positive feedback, all of that. So I do that It's not as transparent, but I do that, and we'll be doing that again at our coach meeting. Mentoring, live game mentoring, I would need to figure out how that would work because when a referee's working, they're working, and it doesn't really work to have someone coaching them during the game, but rather providing opportunities. But we'll see what we can do there. I'm just putting in all the suggestions. All right. How did referees feel afterwards? They felt stronger after each game. That's to be expected. Your first game, you have some jitters. I get it. Um, as you go along and you learn more what to expect from it, that's great. You gain more confidence. Some of the challenges are just remembering the signals. When do you blow the whistle? There is sometimes some coach behavior issues, and we will teach you how to deal with that, especially in the IRF training. If there are late starts, that's one thing we keep metrics on. So, we'll talk about that, but make sure the game started and end on time. First game is late at all, the second game is going to be late, and so on through. Um, Game day feelings. There's always excitement. There's stress at first, and then pride from a job well done. Just some opportunities that are coming on. We'll work on how to get some more hands-on training versus just the IREF, more theoretical training. Mentoring program for first-time refs. This is why we have the dual refs. I try and set it up so that there's an older ref on the field, and then they're encouraged to coach at halftime and after the game. Again, I can only be so many places at a time and do my best with that. The scheduling was the pain point. I've got 2 or 3 weeks here 2.5 weeks to work on improving that a little bit. We're doing this right now, coach orientation of ref expectations. And then in our forum meetings, I do call out highlights where a coach specifically, where a coach will specifically call out a referee. Possibly could be taken further for a referee of the week. Just some opportunities in the program so you know what I'm working on. All right. Now, a little bit more on the training. The IREF training has to be completed by August 17th. In the spring, for those of you who were here, they kept the training open a couple weeks into the season. This time, this is their date when they're closing it. If it's not done by the 17th, the course will close and you won't be able to complete it. So please do that sooner than later. I believe they fixed the registration issues that were happening both last season and last week. Go there, register, take your course. It does take some time. Make sure you're attentive to that. If you don't complete the training and you haven't in the last year, then at that point you'd be ineligible to select any games. So sooner than later will be better. If you're a first-time referee in the program, I do have IREF patches. I should be able to pull this up. I hope you can see that on the camera. This will be given to you to wear on your shirt, showing and signifying that you're certified IREF referee. And then training requirement is annual. It is encouraged, though, for you to look at it every time, before spring and before fall. If you took it in the spring, you don't have to do it this time, but I think that it's a benefit to you. And again, it doesn't cost anything due to the grant that UYSA has. They pay for that for you. A refresher is encouraged, but again, just only required annually. Any questions on the training? And if you don't want to speak up for your question, you can certainly put that in the chat. I have that box on the screen here as well. I can read those. Okay, so that's for training. We'll keep things moving along. Payment information. This is something that comes up. For center referees on the smaller fields, U9 through U11, it's $20 for the game. That would be for each of the referees. Center referee on the bigger fields, U13 through high school, the game pay is $30. These are both above what other leagues you have been paying, at least in our last competitive research. So welcome here, and thank you for being here. assistant referees. We've also expanded that. It used to just be in high school, then U15. In the spring, we started it in U13 as well. So that makes for a lot more opportunities and a lot of opportunity to learn from the sideline where you're being an assistant referee instead of jumping right into the middle as a center referee. So that is also how we built out the program to provide more of those opportunities. All right. Now, for those of you who have been with us, this will be a review. I always like to review so that you're familiar and aware. Pre-game referee requirements. We'll call them requirements. I won't know if you do it or don't, but you'll know. And over time, everyone else will know. Please read the rules for each age group. If you're refereeing in U9, some of those rules are different than U11 or even in high school. We'll go over one of those today. But just to keep your mind fresh, you'll want to go out to the West Jordan Youth Soccer, WJYSoccer.com website. I will be sending this deck out, so that link should work for you. You'll go over to Coach Corner and then down to the rules. And then that will show the age groups. You just want to make sure you read that. In the fall, for U9, offside is not called. So you want to make sure you remember that. You're not calling offside when it should not be enforced. There's another rule in U9 and U10 that's not in the others. That's called the playout line. You want to make sure you're familiar with that and how to work on that. That's one that we're going to talk about a little bit further down in the deck. So in other words, just make sure that you know what the rules are for the age group you're refereeing. Make sure that your equipment is packed and ready the night before. It's happened a lot of times every season since I've started that I get a call or a text. I forgot my whistle. I forgot my whistle or something. You can't ref without a whistle, right? So then that means I need to hurry over. I usually have extra whistles with me. I can't always guarantee that I can get there quickly, though. So make sure that you have your equipment ready. What does your equipment mean? Your referee kit, your whistle, your game clock. That's either a watch or a stopwatch, something to help you keep the time. By the way, the clock has to do with the rules as well. The different age groups will play for different amounts of time. How long? That's what you need to know from the rules. Make sure you have water. We are playing in the fall, so as the season goes along, it will get cooler. That doesn't mean that you're not using water, sweat when you're reffing, so make sure you have that. Always double check your assignments in Stack Officials, and that includes what field you should be on. That happens every season as well, where a referee sees the first field or thinks they're in the right place, but they're not, and then another field doesn't have the referees that they need. So just make sure you're checking that, so you know where and when you need to be there. Check the map. I would encourage you to take a very close look at this before the season starts so that you know, and our next two slides will cover that. And then always be reviewing your IREF documentation. This is what was provided to you after you complete the training. If there's any rules, I can help answer rules questions, all of that. But it's also very well documented in IREF, and I hope that you're not just ignoring that once you get your certification. Just be looking there first, and then you can ask me questions, and I can work to answer that for you. Any questions on the pre-game referee requirements? And again, you can either ask a question live or you can put a question in the chat.
Hey Jeff, I have a
Yes.
question. What are your expectations of shorts? Do you care or should they be black or what do you want?
So they should be black. Sometimes I get it if you're coming from another game and you don't have time to change your shorts from a different color that you have. I get that, but our uniform should be black shorts, or if it gets colder, the longer jogger short or jogger pants, like that. But just trying to maintain the uniform. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Here's a map of the fields. This is where the majority of the games will be. I took this map just this morning off the website. Here's the link. It's just WJYSoccer.com. On the front page, there's going to be a link for the maps. But I took this screenshot. I believe all of these gray fields are where we will be playing. Um, or maybe it hasn't quite been updated. This is all in the south part of the complex. You can see where the fields are. I encourage you to look at your map early and often so that you know where you need to be. Especially, there's been word, and I don't know that it's 100% for sure, but there may be some changes with the high school field. If I go down to the next one, this is on the north part of the complex. This is where all of the younger kids play, U4 through U8. They play over here. This is Maverick. This is Jordan Landing, 7800 South, 40th West. This is where high school has been playing on Field C. So you don't want to show up down here looking for high school if you're an AR, because you'll never find it. You got to walk like half a mile up to get here. So make sure you know where you need to be. Make sure you know the complex. All of this will be explained once both the schedule is established and the schedule, the schedule and the field playing assignments for age groups. All of that is still in development. I can't share it with you today because I don't have it. But other people more smarter than me, smarter than I are working on that for both rostering and creating the schedule and lining that up on the fields. Any questions on the maps? Okay. Now, there is one major change this year. The league has changed uniform providers. So every team, this was shared in the annual general meeting for the league, every team will have two uniforms. I'm speaking from the perspective of the players. There'll be like a blue, kind of like this blue, and a white for home and away. There's no longer going to be the oranges and the greens and the pinks and the rainbow of colors. There's going to be just the two uniforms. So every player will get that plays in Western Youth Soccer will get those two uniforms. As part of that, they are also creating uh, a referee uniform, just the shirt, and that will be given to everybody. Um, I worked out with the league and with the company that I work for to provide kind of a grant to pay for this first load of the uniforms. So for those of you who are refereeing in the fall, you will get one of these. I'll have a picture on the next slide, but let me just go over this information first. In future seasons, I think it'll be between 15 or $20, which is cheaper than, say, a kit that you get on Amazon or somewhere else. It's branded West Jordan Youth Soccer, and that's what we'll have. But for this season, I worked hard to make that arrangement so that you're not having to pay for a new shirt when you may have just bought one, say, in the spring or late last year when that was the requirement. So, yay, congratulations to all of you for that. Um, just the points here, it's West Jordan Youth Soccer branded. That will be the required uniform going forward so that we're able to see who everyone is. Talked about that. I don't have them yet. We'll be talking about how those will be distributed uh, in the coming time. So just keep an eye on the email. By the way, sometimes the emails, even when I send it to myself, they go to the junk folder. So make sure you check your junk through the whole season or put it on the safe list so that those emails get to you. I send an email out basically every single week with information for that week. Uh, you need to get those. That's the main form of communication. I've tried text message forms in the past. It just nothing. We're too big. It's too wide. And so I have to resort back to the emails. Make sure that you're finding some way to get those. That's the way I'm able to communicate with you at this point. You do still need to provide all the other information. So that includes the shorts or the black pants we talked about, your socks, flags, whistles, timers, all of that. It's just the shirt. But I think they look pretty cool, so let's take a look at it. The person in this picture is Colton Spencer. He's the league president. So you can make fun of him for that picture. It's the best one I had. But this is the shirt. You've got the logo right there. Your patch will go right here. Some of these designs, the cool thing about this company is they are able to put, I think this is like the contour lines of the copper mine. So it's local and it is personalized for our league and our teams. So I think that that's really cool. That is what it will look like. I ordered 100 of them to start, and they're of various sizes. We'll do our very best to fit everyone up with the appropriate size, and more info to come on that. But that's what it looks like. Two pockets right there, and I think they look pretty cool. Thumbs up in the chat if you like it, and if you don't like it, that's what we're using. So good job. All right, let's go to our next slide here. Did want to talk about the game day referee expectations. Now, I'll just cover this quickly because this is all covered in IREF training, and the majority of you have already been through the season, but it's always good to remind. So be on time. What on time means is if it's the first game of the day, you're 15 minutes early. Be there because the game starts at, say, 9 o'clock. You have to have done your check-ins 5 to 7 minutes before that. You need to be there on time. If it's your second or third or later game of the day, get there as absolutely quick as you can. Hopefully, many times people will schedule on the same field. So the game ends, you're still there, the next teams come on, and you start the work. If you do need to move to a different field, that's fine. Just get there as absolutely quick as you can. Be fully dressed in your referee kit. We did fantastic at this last season. I didn't see a lot of people that looked like lazy referees. You're there, your shirts were tucked in, you looked sharp, and I hope that we can continue that. Game day, again, inspect the teams before the game. That's talking to the players. Another metric that we keep is introduce yourself to the coach before the game. What this is going to do is let them know who you are. It doesn't even hurt if you shake their hand. Hi, I'm so and so, 14 years old, 13 years old. I'll be your referee today. Let me know at halftime kindly if you have any feedback. Um, and as well, provide feedback to the referee director. That's me in the survey that comes out every single week after the games. By doing that, you introduce yourselves to them. They are less likely to get grouchy at you through the game because they already know who you are. They know your name and they know that you're doing your best. This is huge for keeping everyone at bay. Um, Not that things just always get out of control. That doesn't always happen. But if they know who you are, they're less likely to get grouchy at you. That's just a tip for success. Introduce yourself to your parents at halftime. This is another huge one. It doesn't seem like it should be part of it as far as knowing the rules, knowing when to blow the whistle, but it's huge. By you introducing yourselves to the parents at halftime, they're on your side. They're looking to help you out and help you improve. It's a positive experience. It's scary for some kids to do that. The most successful referees are the ones that actually do that. Okay, this is another metric we keep. So I know about the percentage of what goes on, and it's about half. I would like to get that way higher this season. Start the game on time, end the game on time, call the fouls timely. That means when you see it, yeah, you've got a second or two to think about it. But just because it's been 2 seconds does not mean that you don't call it. If it takes that long to process in your mind, yeah, that was a foul, or maybe you're going to determine if you want to play on, but call the fouls timely. This is where people get grouchy is when the whistles aren't being either blown loud enough, or at all timely. If it's been 3 minutes, obviously you can't call back the foul. Be decisive. You're already there in a yellow or this year orange shirt. Everyone sees you, everyone knows you there, and everyone expecting to hear the whistle. So be confident, be proud of the job that you're doing, and call the fouls. Enforce the play out line. I think this is the next slide. We'll cover that in a second. This is the number one complaint of coaches is the whistle is not loud enough. I've run out of them now. We had electronic whistles. I may see if the league can provide some more. But for now, if you have one and you liked using it, great. If you're using one where you're using your wind power to do it, I want these whistles to be loud enough for them to hear you on the next field. Referees who do that are far more successful because everybody understands. The only time coaches and parents get a little grouchy is when they don't know what's going on. The whistle helps with that. Same with the signals. That's the next one. Signal huge. Just because you've said the words throw in for blue, you also need to point. That way, everyone, even on the other sideline, knows what's going on. And it keeps everybody happy. also helps the players, but signals and whistles are for the sidelines and to stop play. Stay close enough to the play to make the calls. In years past, I didn't see it this last time, but I've seen referees basically standing at the midfield line and just kind of standing there and watching the play go back and forth. This was more on the smaller fields, but no, you got to be closer to it. That gives an image as well that you're engaged, you're involved, and you need to be there up close to make the play. Um, Provide coaching to players. Now, this isn't strategy coaching. If they're not getting the throw-ins right, you can teach them once, both feet on the ground, don't jump, throw the ball over your head. You're coaching the players on the rules, not strategy, like go over there and get the ball, but rather, why did you blow the whistle? Help them improve so that they don't make that offense against the law of the game again. Uh, Coaches do appreciate that as well. Okay, any questions on the game day expectations? All right, let's keep moving on. Okay, this one is super important, especially at the start of the season. U9, U10 has this play out line rule. This is copy and pasted exactly from the rules, and I'm just going to read it. When the goalkeeper has the ball, represented by these black dots, whether during play from the opponent or from a goal kick. So, in other words, if the goalkeeper has the ball, not all coaches understand this. And this is one that I will be talking about in the coach meeting coming up. But if the goalkeeper has the ball, the opposing team must go behind the build-out line. On the fields for U9 and U10, you'll see either a painted dotted line, they have been doing that, or two cones. So in this scenario, red has the ball, blue has to get entirely behind this line until the ball is played outside of the box. And once the ball is in play outside of the penalty box, then the player resumes as normal. The players on the team with the ball do not have to cross. So team red here can be on this side. Now, we've talked about this in the forum meetings. If the goalkeeper plays it fast and blue hasn't had a chance to get across the line, don't blow the whistle. That was their choice, and they decided to play fast. But if they have the ball, you need to start with big arm waves and words, get behind the line, behind the line, behind the line. You might even mention it as a coach before the game and say, can you help me get your players behind the line so we can enforce the play out line rule? There's a lot of times the goalkeeper will kick it. It'll be like right here, or say there's blue players right here. Goalkeeper kicks it, they just run up, go up and score. That's against the rules. And then what you're having to do, because they weren't behind the line, what they're having to do is you're having to call back a goal. People are cheering, they're not knowing what's going on, so just enforce that. I do have a video right here where I talk about basically what I just talked about, but you can go back and review that. That's on the YouTube channel. Any questions on this one? Okay, this is an example of one where the feedback comes back a lot, especially at the start of the season. You want to know it very well. You want to be in charge of this rule, own it. Okay, your halftime speech. Again, I'll be emailing this out, but you should memorize this. Hi, parents. My name is Jeff, and I'm old. I'm 14 years old. I'm not really, but obviously you say how old you are. I'm the referee for today's match. If you'd like to give me feedback, please contact your coach. We'll be providing an evaluation of my performance today to the league referee director. This helps me know how I can become a better referee. This lets them know that you're a person, you're doing your best, and there is an avenue for them to provide feedback. They don't have to shout that to you on the field. They can provide that to me, and then I come back and I train you. Okay? This is the secret sauce for success by doing this. Okay? Let's keep moving. So after the game, post-game referee requirements, stay in the center circle. You want to shake hands with the coaches and high five the players. Do that. This was a sticking point. Fill out the game reports. This is in Stack Officials. I have a video for that as well. I'll be working with Stack to make sure that we're not, or try to make sure we're not having the same technical issues we did last time, but there'll be a bell icon in the upper right-hand corner with your game where what I need you to put in there is a few things. I've got a slide down below, but how did you do? Were there any problems with either the coach or the parents? And how can you improve? It has to be short and concise. They only give you 250 characters in that box. If it's longer, if there was an incident, if there was an issue, and this has happened, I need you to send me an email with the details so that we can properly address the situation. If there's any immediate concerns, this is my phone number, um, cell phone number right here. It's in my pocket. I do coach one team as well. So if I am doing that and I don't feel the buzz or whatever, then I may not catch it. But other than that hour, I stay at the fields from open till close, and I will be there. I bought a cool scooter so I can skate around the or scoot around the soccer park faster, and I can be there fairly quickly. So take note of that number. Um, in regards to the game reports, if you're working multiple games in a row, you may want to bring a notebook just to write down a few thoughts so it doesn't get jumbled up in your mind. Okay, any questions about the post-game requirements? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, this is about the game reports. For both center referees and ARs, you should complete a game report. I think I've taken it off now on the settings, but no score is kept in this league. Um, and so you don't need to keep track of that. You don't need to enter that in. That's not important for our recreational division. What you want to put in there, any problems with coaches, what did you do well, what can you improve on? Here's the video of how you can do that. This will be a link in the deck that I send out later today. You can also just search for it on the YouTube channel and find it there. Any questions on that? If you are having problems on week one, I will apologize now. Let me know ASAP so that I can get that resolved as quick as possible. Okay, for those of you who were with us before, please go in and double check your profile. Make sure everything is still accurate. Do you have a new address? Update your tax information, all of that. Make sure that your banking information is right. Every year we have a couple where they want to change a bank account, and then we get to like the week 5 and they still haven't been paid. I don't want that to happen to you. I am not able to help you with the payment information. That's your own private information. I can give you information on how to try to solve it, but I have to send you to customer service at Stack or Stripe. Please just take care of this now sooner than later. And then a tip for success is set your availability. This is important because, and game schedules aren't out yet if you also play in the league, but by setting your availability, that takes off the list games that you are not able to referee anyway. So you're having to sort through less. This is a video. All 3 of these links are videos. Go to YouTube videos on what you do to complete those various tasks. Highly encourage you to set your availability so you don't have to sort through as much clutter when the time comes to schedule. Okay. As far as game assignments, I know everyone is going to start asking questions about this one too. Schedule is still in development. It is impossible for me to schedule you at this point. In fact, rostering is still in progress, so there are no teams set to do anything. That's being handled by different parts of the board. As soon as it is available, then I will start building that schedule in Stack Officials so that we're ready to go. The plan right now, given where we're at, we have, 16 days, is that we'll do this on Monday, the 18th in the evening. I'm still brainstorming some ways on how to make it so the system doesn't bog down. Perhaps that could look like center referee schedule first, and then an hour later or the next day, the ARs go in. Because the system did bog down last time and created a little bit of a situation. One person trying to work through all this with 60, 70, sometimes 80 referees. So that's kind of the plan I have for now. I have 16 days to be working on that, and I will definitely be communicating with you. They are self-assigned, so you need to know what your schedule is in advance so that you can go in and select the games that you're able. How many games can you ref? That depends on the final number of referees that we have, the final number of games that are even available, and the ages. If I have a whole bunch of 12-year-olds, that's going to obviously make it so that you have less opportunity at CR. You're going to have to do more of the ARs. I only have a small handful of referees that can do the high school games and the U15 games. So there's more opportunity there. That's just the reality of the situation. Um, Over the years, time referees do cycle through and fall out a little bit. And so um, if you stick with us, especially in the future, there'll be more opportunity for some of the higher level games to work that. Any questions on game assignments, provided the information I'm able to provide you at this time? Okay, now down to our side here. So again, just to reiterate, these are self-assigned. Here's how you'll do it. Watch the video. Video guide, just go to the channel and watch everything you can there. In fact, I have 20 subscribers now on the channel. I suggest you go there and subscribe so that you can know when the new stuff is out there and be more easily able to find the information. Within Stack Officials, I have to use some codes a little bit. CR stands for center referee. AR stands for assistant referee. I get questions every season about that. Just I'm telling you here and now, so you should be able to see that. There are also positions called standby. What this means is basically you can get first in line if someone cancels. It's not a paid position. You're not expected to show up at the field. Normally, if there's a cancellation, it is happening. I get several cancellations every single week. It's just part of the job to fill those again last minute, which is why I created the standby position. You can sign up there. If someone has to cancel, something comes up, camp, I guess there's less camp in the fall. A funeral, whatever the case may be. Maybe your comp team, if you play with them, suddenly there's a tournament that comes up. All that happens. I get it. It just does. If you're in the standby position, I'm going to call you first to fill that position and see if you're still able to do it. If you are, then you'll be bumped up into the CR or the AR position, whatever the case may be. If you remain on standby, it is possible I could give you a call on Saturday morning and see if you're available, but you're not expected to be at the field, um, anything like that. So, I mean, keep your phone close by, but for the most part, if we get to Saturday morning, everything moves smoothly. But sometimes kids will wake up sick on a Saturday morning, suddenly can't come. I'll end up giving you a call if it's 8:45 and I hear about it for a 9 o'clock game. You know, that kind of is what it is, and we just do the best that we can. Um, so to that point, if you do need to cancel, please do it as soon as you know about it so that I have time uh, in the evenings after work, all that to fill the positions. Please help me out with that. That's very good. Okay, that's an overview of the program, the expectations, the calendar coming up that we're working on. Do you have any questions that on topics that I either covered and wasn't clear enough or something I didn't cover that you'd like an answer to? You can either put those in the chat or you can come off mute and ask your question. Okay, I must have done an amazing job. No questions coming in anywhere.
Wait, really quick. How old do you have to be to get like the older kids refereeing?
Okay, let me go back to that slide somewhere up here. Okay, where you're able to, by default, here's where you can ref. For U9, you have to be 1 year older. That's the same for all of these. So a 10-year-old could ref in U9. So in other words, do the math. If you're refing U13, you should be 14 or older. U11, you should be 12 or older. For ARs, you can be any age because you're on the side, but for center referee, that's where it is. For high school, um, I like for it to be graduate of high school. My pool is so small that I will take some referees who are more experienced and have a proven track record of being able to handle the speed and complexity of that age group. But that's on a case by case basis. I may promote you to be able to look at those games, but by default, that's not the case. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I have two questions in the chat, so sound cut out. Going over jerseys, are we still okay to wear the old ones? I'd prefer if you wear the new orange ones. I don't know if you were there for that part. They're free for you at this point for this season. I have a bunch that will be coming in. We got a grant from a company that I work for, and those will be distributed to you. So we're looking for that uniform look. They are branded well, West Jordan Youth Soccer, and we will be sent to you. That's why I wanted as well to give them to you for free to you this time, because in the past you have had to buy them, and I didn't feel right about requiring you to buy another one. Okay. Next one, materials like flags, whistles, etc., need to be bought somewhere else specific. Yeah, we're not a store. We don't have anything like that. I generally send people to Amazon where they've got a wider selection. There are stores called uh, Soccer Post has some. I think some people found some stuff at Shields. There's another one. It's slipping my mind right now. I can look back through the emails that I sent out in the spring where someone found one at a local shop that had some decent prices there. Um, let me let me dig that out, and I can add that into the email that I send out a little bit later today. Okay. Do you have a slide on the coach feedback from last season? I do. Those were, oh, coach feedback from last season. I did not include the percentages on this in this gear. Um, sorry, I read the word gear in the chat. I do not have the coach feedback statistics in this deck. I will have that at the first forum meeting, and we will go over how the season ended and see where we can improve from there. Okay. When do we get the new jerseys? I will communicate that to you soon. I don't even have them yet. I think they're still being, what we saw here in the deck was uh, one of the samples that was created. And so it will obviously be before the season starts, but watch your email for information on that. Okay, uniform is black socks. That is the uniform. If you're refereeing a game and you have on a different color socks and you did not have time to change your socks, I'm okay with that. But if you are able to put on the black socks, that is what I suggest. But I'd rather have you be there on time and start the game on time than be fiddling around with the socks. But by default, yes, do the black socks. Are there any specific requirements for the flags? Can you clarify the question on that? Do you mean like what the flag looks like, or do you
Yeah.
mean
Yeah, like should it be a certain color? Should it be a certain size? And maybe you are going to put a link for something in Amazon on your email, and that's fine too. We just want to make sure we get the right thing.
Yeah, they're fairly standard. I mean, there's different designs on the flags. None of that matters. Just the referee flags. I will include some kits in the email to take you to the right place. Once you get in that vein of knowing what they look like, you'll see, and it'll be obvious what we're looking at for that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Do you need to have shin guards on? As a referee, you do not need to have shin guards on. You can if you want, if you're afraid they're going to kick you, but no, that's not part of the referee uniform. Okay. I'll leave it open for another moment or two, see if there's any questions. Okay. Thank you for joining the West Jordan Youth Soccer Referee Orientation or Kickoff Meeting for Fall 2025. I am going to stop the recording now, and then I will hang out here for a few more minutes if anyone has any more detailed questions that they wanted to go over. Otherwise, I can turn everybody loose. Hope you have an amazing Saturday. Watch for my email today, and over the next couple of weeks as we get ready to kick this thing off. So thanks for being here. Appreciate you, and we will talk soon. Thanks.